right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room on Monday, July 18th. Man, it's hard to believe we're already in the middle, getting close to the end of July.
No,
But got a big show. Got my dad, Tony Gonzalez, with me as always. How you doing, Dad?
doing pretty good.
Do we have special guest, the one and only Marcus Fine? How you doing, Marcus?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Go ahead, Dad.
No, that was good. Well, I hope you're doing fine after Saturday night.
Yeah, that was something else. I will say that. I did have two fans actually PM me and asking me about my well-being, and I've had a lot of the guys in the back wanted more a part of that. So I don't think we're done with me, to be honest with you. So.
We're not going to do old school WCW Marcus Fine on a pole match or anything, are we?
No, shoot, no. That ain't going to happen. I just have a feeling that my part isn't over yet. So
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Golden Prophecy got a little bit out of hand on Saturday night.
yeah, they did. I was going to do that last, but I'll do that first.
Oh.
Yeah, they did. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's hard to tell. I was happy to see that the Bulletproof Posse are now the tag champions. Congratulations, Ricky Guns and Chris Chaos. We got a piece of them, and I have a feeling we're not done taking pieces of the Golden Prophecy yet. So I do know Christian Cash has got Mike King in October, which that's their next match. They're taking 3 months off.
Yeah.
And then you got that bull rope match between J.H. Hogg and Justin Terrell. So it's I'm looking forward to that. I know we got to wait 3 months to get there, but
What's your feelings on that match? Because I'll be honest, I've never seen J.H. Hogg in the ring.
yeah,
So-
it's been a while since I said J.H. Hogg, but he is old school and he's bringing up an old school match. So I have a feeling Justin Terrell is going to have a hard time. J.H. Hogg is not no stranger to the bull rope, obviously. So I think Justin Terrell bit off more than he could chew.
Well, Dad, when J.H. Hogg said a bull rope match, I think that was I think your quote was, "That's about as old school as you can get."
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I actually just heard you say that because I was breaking down that video from last night or Saturday night. I mean, Kelly said they better watch putting their hands on them, or they're going to have to have me to answer to.
Uh-oh.
I'm kind of curious where the what was up with shooting with Shane, super kicking Christian. Was that to show his loyalty to his friend? Because then, they pulled him out of the ring, wouldn't let him make the count, and caused him to call a DQ. So is that storyline going anywhere? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see.
We talked during the show, me and Chris, what was going on, and even I think before the show, we think that the posse is the key to taking on the Golden Prophecy. That they are the key ingredient that I think is needed to be able to fight against the Golden Prophecy. Because
Right.
I mean, there's no way that Cash and DeVille can do it by themselves.
oh no,
Yeah,
no, absolutely
Because
not.
the numbers game, that's how the Golden Prophecy works. Is right now is with the numbers game. There's like 10 or 11 of them.
There's quite a few of them.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but what was that team called, Chris? Kelly's Club?
The Kelly Club.
I mean, yeah, Kelly Club. I mean, they're a nice young team, but they didn't have a chance in heck of competing against Mike King.
No, Mike King's a veteran.
And
Justin's a veteran. Those guys are still new. They got a long to learn, but at least you give them kudos for trying. So
it was a heck of an effort.
yeah,
I mean,
they did very well holding their own there for a long while. But you're right, the numbers played the part in it, and
That's a big pickup for the Golden Prophecy, getting a guy like Mike King.
yeah, I've known Mike forever. And, it doesn't surprise me he pulled what he done.
No.
So,
No,
like I said, I think it all goes back to that last interview because I told you he used to pester me before. I think I revived some stuff in him that, hey, I'll pester him again. It's like,
What'd you think of the show overall?
The whole I thought the show was solid.
Yeah.
The Dirty Birds are still relatively new to that group. I don't know how long those boys have been wrestling, but of course you see they bring their own fan club in.
You'd be amazed on how long how many matches they've had.
Because I've always seen them twice. So
was it the first time you saw them in a battle royal?
No, the first time I seen them was 2 shows ago.
As a tag team, or were they?
Yeah, they were a tag team.
Well, before that, they done a battle royal, and then they wrestled the time that you saw them as a tag team. And last night or Saturday night was that's all their matches they've had.
When was the battle royal? Maybe that was one of the nights I didn't get there.
Yeah, he said a battle royal. I don't know if it was maybe not an AACW, maybe.
Okay, that's possible because
I'm not sure because he said a battle royal, but I don't know where it would have been at.
I don't recall one.
And he said they've had two tag matches together.
Yeah, well, they're good, and like I said, they bring their whole group in there. The last show they were at, all those people were behind us, and they held like 2 rows, and as soon as they come out, they get to screaming. I mean, they were loud. Not that the fans in Kokomo need any help with being loud, but they added to that loud. And
oh, Dad must be out. You having some internet trouble, Dad?
I don't know what's going on. It froze up a little bit, and then I don't know what happened.
Maybe it's his turn to have it act up. I did last month, and now it's his turn.
Yeah, Kokomo's got a great fan base.
Yeah,
I mean, outstanding.
And it got loud. It was loud in that gym Saturday night.
Yeah, I love that. A friend of ours, Roger Moore, who goes to a lot of the shows anymore with us. I told him, I says, those Kokomo people are loud. You're going to see a whole different from what you're used to seeing. And yeah, he said they were pretty noisy. So, because they never shut up. I mean, I don't want to use that term "shut up" because you don't want them shutting up, but they're never quiet.
No.
We'll use that term. Shut up's a rude term, and I don't mean that. But
yeah.
They start from the minute Shane comes out until the main event is over, and they're never quiet. Even during intermission, they're loud. So
yeah, it helps make the show, no doubt about it. What was your favorite match on the show? Me and Chris had one. I think me and Chris was probably the same one, but.
Well, I was happy that the Bulletproof got the belts, of course, because I'm a huge supporter of that. I really would have liked to seen how well Christian Cash and Damien DeVille, if they had let that played out without interfering. I mean, I think those guys could have even gone to the time limit.
Yep.
But I did like the main event. So I got to think of what was all on there. Oh, hang on, I got them written down here. Adam Rain taking on Chad Cross. I think Chad got hurt in that match. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, I kind of thought
he got dropped on his head, kind of screwed up his neck. Let's see. But yeah, I think it wasn't the Justin Terrell Mike King match. I'll tell you that was not my favorite.
No.
As soon as he got in there, I looked at my wife. I says, they're going to do the finger poke of doom, or whatever they called that.
Yeah, Chris.
Says, you just watch. He's going to lay down for him. And
I
told you, he's going to lay down for him. I knew what was coming. I just had that feeling.
I was saying the same thing.
I said it on commentary after it happened. I said, that's the finger poke of doom. Yep, I said the same thing. And the match that I liked, Chris, you may have to help me with the one guy's name because I'm forgetting it, was Crisis against the other Danger. Was it Jordan Danger?
Justin Danger.
Justin Danger. I really liked that match.
Yeah, they did very well.
Yeah, I thought that was a match I thought was my favorite match of the night. I thought they both looked real good. I'll tell you, but I've seen that Crisis now three or four times, and I haven't seen him have a bad match.
No, he used to work for Jason Maples at the in EWF. I've seen Jamie a lot over the years, and yeah, he's done very well for himself.
Yeah, I think he was at the shows that we had, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah, if you had Jason Maples running, I'm sure you did because he was one of his guys. So.
Go ahead, Dad.
Well, I know we started off with that show and caught you off guard. What would you like to go to next? What show would you like to go
how far back you want me to go?
As far as you want to.
All right. Well, It was going to end up being 6 shows in 10 days, but Kelly got sick on Friday. She got a real bad migraine, so we didn't get down to the dub on Friday night. We were good to go up until about 2 o'clock, and then she had a migraine. We didn't think she ought to be driving, and so I had to cancel that one. We'll touch base with the WCW show a few weeks ago. It'll be brief because we've had one since then. But Fuji Wildman and Hodari finally got to lock horns. And Hodari did get the win, but then Fuji low-blowed him, so I don't think that match is over yet. Dex and Dalton Love was a very good match on that show. Dalton gave him everything. Of course, he came up short, but I enjoyed that one. And the highlight reel took on the Beaver Boys for the, I don't know, 5th, 6th, 7th time. I can't remember who won. I'm pretty sure the Beaver Boys did, but, you know, those guys give it their all, so you never have a bad match with those 4 running with each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Luke Savage did get a win over Jackson Morgan, but yeah, he's foot on the ropes, but he did get the win. So as Pete said, who does commentary, they don't tell you in the record books how he won it. It just told you he did win it. So
Yep.
That's a big win.
So then we was at the Wrestling Theology. That was the day after. You guys been in that church, Mercy Church in Fortville. Being summer, the crowd wasn't that big. But Paragon and Jake Carter was the main event. And Jake lost his title to Paragon. But they put on a heck of a show. Brutus Dillon, I don't know if you're familiar with Brutus Dillon. He works up north a lot. But he come down for the tournament, and he won 3 out of the 4, or 2 out of 3. I can't remember. He wrestled a bunch. And he lost to it's a guy named the Space Cowboy. I can't, Stacy something.
Yeah.
And Stacy ended up becoming the Liberty champion, I think it was, or the U.S. champion, whatever that title was.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing, yeah.
And then Jeremy Hadley took on the Space Cowboy also. That was one of the brackets. And, you know, Jeremy Hadley. So
I was going to say, I bet you that was a good match.
yeah, it was. So, yeah, the Wrestling Theology does good work.
Yeah, Space Cowboy, he's a pretty good worker. I like watching, big guy. I like watching him.
He's got a good following. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of people there, but the people that were there really liked him. And there's another one called Chuckles the Clown.
Yep.
Real interesting look to him, but he's got a big following too. And they actually cracked him open. I mean, hard way. And they had to take an extra intermission and clean the ring with bleach. And I mean, it was right there somewhere, and he had it just everywhere.
Huh.
I was really impressed by the way they ran in there. They sent us to intermission, and they get in there, and you can smell that bleach, but they wiped that ring from top to bottom. So you never see that. Normally you just, a little blood, we'll wipe it up.
Yep.
They really wiped it up. So
get a rag and a little bit of spray it, wipe it up.
If you like, you have the spray. Most of the time it's paper towel. So.
Yep.
But then.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and then I was going to tell you, then we went over to Danville, Illinois. You guys ever get a chance to go over there? It's a unique setup. It's in an old warehouse. They use it now for like wedding receptions and stuff because they got all them lights stringing. And if you look at my pictures, you see all the lights and curtains, and they can partition it off in different sections. But they put the ring way down at one end of the room, and most of the fans are in front of it. And since I knew somebody, we got beside it. But had a lot of the guys that we know. Blake and Logan Myers was there. They took on a team called the Kings of Insanity. I've always seen them once because we're talking, it's like Illinois people, so I'm not so familiar with the Illinois Feds, but very good match. You know how Blake is. He was the heel. Another stealing the camera.
Yeah.
Flipped off the fans, took pictures of it. They now call that the Blake, just so you know. Hey, can I use your camera? Oh, you mean the Blake? They call it that now. Jordan Bell, he called it the Blake. Devin Quinn was on it. I don't know if you're familiar with Devin Quinn. He's wrestled at Warrior Pro a few times. He took on a guy named, let me look at my paperwork. I had to do a lot of research this morning to get these names. Rico Jones. He's another, I think, an Illinois guy. I'm not. And they had a really back and forth match. I believe Devin lost that, but he gave it his all. Robert Black took on Aaron Atlas, and Aaron played a heel and beat Robert Black. That was the opener, and the people around me were excited for that match. And I wasn't familiar with Robert Black, so I didn't know, but they were happy to see that those two guys take on each other. And then then there's Yoder. Yoder's a big, tall, 6-7 foot. Well, I wouldn't say 7, but 6.5 foot fella that is in an Amish character, and he took on a guy called Mr. Broadway. And I can't really explain it, but he was over. It was his debut match, but he worked the crowd well. And it was like face versus face because they were both fan favorites. And you don't see that a lot anymore. But Mr. Broadway took that title, or not the title, took that win. But my favorite match on that was seeing Logan Ventura back, for one. And she challenged Austin Ryan. And it was called, what did I tell you? Doors, chairs, and ladder. They didn't have any tables. It was doors, chairs, and so it was basically a hardcore. And she beat him. She went through the table, and he went through the table, and it was very back and forth. But she got the win on that. That was my match of the night for that. But yeah, if you guys ever get a chance to go over, it's called New Version Wrestling. It runs in Danville, Illinois, in a place called, it's like Rabbit Town, which is like I wouldn't say it's a suburb, but it's a little section down by the railroad. I'm sure there's history there from years ago. And it's in an old warehouse. And if you ever get the chance to go over there, they only run this was only their second show, but it's a couple guys, Chris and I think it's Thomas Halls. They run that, and they do very well.
How far in Illinois is it? Just across the border? Or?
Yeah, it was minute you cross. If you get on I-74 out of Indianapolis, the minute you cross the Illinois border, you're practically in Danville. Okay. So once we got done, you can run right up to the interstate. I think it's like 5 minutes up there, if that, and then you're back in the Indiana. I mean, it's just like right over the border. Now it's on Central Time. You got to remember that. So when they tell you that it's a 5 o'clock bell time, it's actually a 6 o'clock for us. So
yeah,
I don't run into that very often, but every so often,
yeah.
We still got an hour. So
yeah. I bet you it was interesting seeing Aaron Atlas as a heel.
Yeah, and he was in instead of being in ring shorts, he was in tights. A real new look for him. But he was very. It's always weird to see. I'm still trying to accept Jordan James being a face. So
yep, we were talking about
Aaron
that.
Atlas being a heel, it's kind of the opposite. It's just like that. But the guy he took on was the face. This let's see what's that guy's name? Robert Black, and there wasn't a bad match on that show. They had a guy come out, I think his name was Tyler, I cannot think of his last name. He did like a little testimonial about depression and stuff. And then they did their intermission, and it was very well done. They probably brought in at least 100 people in that building. So they did very well over there.
That's a good crowd, especially this time of year.
Oh, yeah. And it was air conditioned. Kelly and I keep shaking our heads about how many of these venues in the middle of July are not air conditioned.
Well, hell, that one other night in Kokomo, when we got there, it was hot. It was hotter than crap in there.
Yeah.
And they turned the air on, and Amanda was all covering up, and she got cold.
Wrestling theology, the church was that way too. We walked in there and sweats but they finally turned it's just like, come on, guys. Surely with this type of technology you have in this building, the air conditioner works in here. Turn it on. It's like,
yeah.
And that's what was impressive about the Kokomo crowd too. For them to have 200 people there in the summer like that, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Kelly and I were talking about certain ones we don't know their names, and we just remember seeing them at other shows. It's like, well, I didn't see this person. Well, she did say that one family came in later, but to fill them bleachers up like they do. And all the seats per se, there wasn't too many seats available.
No.
So
yeah, they put out some more chairs, and then almost all the bleachers, just a little section in the bleachers, I think to the left was open, but other than that, it was full.
Yeah, they do good over there.
And
then yesterday we went to see Jake Ullman's show. Hang on, I gotta get my paperwork. There it is. It's called White River Wrestling. The building, I cannot remember. Hang on, that building's called the Fowling Warehouse.
Yeah, Fowling Warehouse.
You take the GPS to get there, you don't think you're going anywhere. We were on back roads. We were on a brick road. We were down one-lane roads. Turn left, turn right, go around, circle back. It's like, where are we going? It's like, but then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. It's like, and impressive place. Huge. They got a bar on one end, but I think they can do just, I mean, they had it in one section, but the section we were in was just one minute part of that building. I know they do cornhole tournaments. I'm not sure all what they do in there, but the place is just massive. Beautiful establishment and it's just weird how it's on the east side of Indy down there, basically in the, I don't know how to phrase that, but it was weird getting there. But then we got parked right across the street, walk right in. So I talked to Jake Ullman this morning, thanked him, good show. I said every match had a person I was not familiar with, and then the highlights were there. Dex was there, Dutch Boy was there, Ace Perry, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
People I knew, but then the opponents were people I didn't know.
So it was a good mix.
Yeah, and he said he likes to bring in. He did that on purpose, because I said it was interesting, and he brought some of them were from Ohio because I did some research to see. The highlight reel wrestled a man and a woman, and they were known as the Shooting Stars. And when they first come out, I'm thinking, well, this ought to be interesting because the guy is real. Well, they're both real skinny. The other guy's real lanky, but they put on a heck of a match. And when it was all done, the highlight reel won, but then they shook hands and they all walked out together. Real big show of respect. I mean, it was outstanding. Jake took on a guy named Jack Vaughn. I've never seen him, but the guy's tall. Jake Ullman is 6'2", 6'3". I didn't realize how tall he actually was because I've always talked to him sitting down. But I seen him before the show, and I'm coming back from the restroom, and oh man, you got some height to you. I didn't realize that. But this guy was taller than he was.
Yeah.
And he's known as the veteran. In fact, he's the veteran. He didn't come out to ring music. He just walked out there, just like the old school. And it was a heck of a fight. And the crowd was really into Jake Ullman. They were cheering. I mean, it was loud. I would say at least 200, if not more. The setups, the ring is very high. It's one of the highest rings I've seen. But then they got these, like, those big spools that the wire, well, they turn those all into like tables and they sit around on bar stools. And the place is amazing. But let's see. There's a guy named Russ Jones I wasn't familiar with. He took on Blake Money Wright in the opener.
He looked like he was a pretty big dude.
I'd like to see Russ Jones take on Shane Mercer. But then somebody brought up Justin Kyle. Are you familiar with him? He's another. They said, well, how about Russ Jones and Justin Kyle? Like, yeah, that'll work. But Blake ended up losing that. Logan came out and took on a guy named Jay West. I wasn't familiar with Jay, but Logan won that one. And then Ace Perry and Aaron Williams. I know both them guys, but Ace won that one. And then Dex took on a guy, and I can't even, Laszlo Arpod or something. I don't remember where they said he was from, but he beat Dex. It was a hard fought battle. Then the highlight reel took on those Shooting Stars. Dutch Boy Platinum took on this guy named Savio Leone. He's in a cat outfit, head to toe, mask all the way. Even has cat feet on the bottom of his thing. A lady come around during intermission, give us these yarn balls. So when the show, Dutch Boy beat him. Funny thing was, Dutch Boy actually tied his tail to the bottom rope, and the referee had to untie it. I was laughing about that. But then when they were done and Dutch Boy left, and everybody just started winging these yarn balls. I mean, if you look at the pictures, you see them all piled up. he's rolling in them. They're all over him. I mean, it was an interesting gimmick. I don't know that I totally cared for the gimmick, but he was very over. And, I mean, it was interesting. I'll say that. And then, of course, Jake beat Jack Vaughn for the main event. But very good show. Very well worth the time to go down there. And, outstanding.
I know Jones has wrestled in the last few years for Maples on some of his shows.
Okay.
I know that's Jones has. And then I know Vaughn, if I remember right, I've seen him on a lot of posters for Michigan.
He could be.
Then, yeah, I want to get.
I've heard both of those guys.
I want to get down there and check it out. I want to get a hold of Jake and see maybe if we could go down there and record it or stream it live or whatever and do commentary.
Yeah, it's well worth the time, and the facility is beautiful. I mean, it's a running bar, and they actually ran the bar from noon to 3, and then they closed the bar, for the outside public. If you didn't have your tickets to get in, you couldn't go in there and just drink. You had to be part of the wrestling show. They kept the bar open for the wrestling crowd, but they closed the bar to the public for anybody that wasn't there for the show. So. But yeah, it was outstanding. I've not been down there. Blake has invited me down, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and it just worked out we could go this time. So
I have to go check that out. And Ace Perry, I'll tell you what, when you guys were at the at Danville, Illinois show,
right,
the Summit Pro show they had that Sunday. Oh, Ace Perry and
Giza,
they put on a show in that Iron Man match. It was real good.
Yeah. Yeah, Ace and that I've seen Aaron Williams before, so I kind of knew they didn't hold anything back. They did their normal. They're both really fit. They're really athletic, high flyers. So it was a good show, a good match.
I've got to see a couple of videos from what I seen. I liked the videos I seen.
Then at that Summit Pro show when Crowley won the belt. Man, that crowd went crazy, and they did. Yeah, they had a good sized crowd that day.
Yeah, we seen her last night. She was part of the audience, but she was there. So yeah, they have enough respect that you get the wrestlers to come and watch it too. So I like to see that. If they're not on the show, they'll still support it. I like to see that. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed we enjoyed talking to Alice that day. We're going to get her back on the show again as well.
Right. But I think that's all of them. Except for what they did to me Saturday. So.
Did you, now I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but was there one show that you kind of favored more than another? Or?
See, I gotta watch what I say because Mike King don't like you talking about anybody but DCCW, so I don't know if he's watching or not. But, that's hard to say. I'm always going to be loyal to AACW. I always will. So, and I can't pick because they all had their own uniqueness to them. They were all different. They all had their own style. So I really couldn't pick.
Is the Illinois crowd any different than maybe an Indiana crowd? Any different?
No, they're about the same. Now I will say in the past the Kentucky crowds are different than Indiana crowds.
That's what
you just have to experience. And they don't chop. You know how everybody, chest chops? They don't do that in Kentucky. We went to 4 or 5 shows through. Well, I don't think it's better. I think maybe 3. You never seen one chest chop. They don't do that down there.
Crowley
the Illinois crowd did it, but it was one of our guys that done it. I think it was Logan Myers. I don't think I've seen any of those guys over there chop. But the Illinois crowd is basically just like us. But the Kentucky crowd, it's just hard to. You have to be there to experience it. But
yeah, Crowley told us that too. Said that the crowd was different down south.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee and
very different. She said.
And see, I can't really judge on the micros because a lot of the people that go to micro wrestling aren't wrestling fans really in general. They're going there for the gimmick, not for the wrestling. Whereas Kelly and I went for the wrestling.
Yeah,
they go for the gimmick. So it's they're not really wrestling fans.
And people people that are wrestling fans need to go watch that micro wrestling for the wrestling because they can go. Yeah,
me and Terry Coons, we talked about, because they were Jay County or somewhere.
Yep.
And I said, what you think of the micros? It says, those guys are solid. I says, and they do it all. They tear their own ring down. They put their own ring up. They're in charge of their merch. There isn't guys that do that. They do it all. And, those guys are solid.
Yeah, I want to get to a show, watch one live.
Yeah, you need to. That is fantastic stuff.
You got any shows going to this week?
Well, you know where I'm going to this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
WCW.
I forgot what was this week. I got all kinds of shows lined up for it. I forgot.
You're like me, but yeah, we'll be at Danville, Indiana. I was talking to Cecil Cerveza talking about Danville, and
you
was thinking
you have
Illinois, and he was thinking I was thinking Indiana, so he's giving me Indiana. No, I know who Ava Lee is. Who is the Lee? It's like I'm at Danville, Illinois, but no. Yep, I'm ready for that.
what match are you looking the most forward to on that card?
I want to see the cage match, but I really want to see Nate Matthews and Dutch Boy.
Yep.
And I talked to Dutch Boy yesterday. I said, "Are you ready?" And he's really excited to work Nate on Saturday. So,
yeah, I think that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really, really good card. It may be the best show they've done. We'll see.
I'm not trying to slip, but I talked to David, which is, David, right?
Yep.
And he said, yeah, this is probably the biggest one they're going to have to date, because you're finally going to get Jake and Blake, and they're finally going to have their match in a cage. Blake can't run. Nobody can come in and help him. It'd be interesting to see Kate and Alice. I have to agree with Alice. I don't think Kate has a chance, but you never know.
Well, she's going to have Kate's going to have something up her sleeve. You know that.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I said. You never know.
And I seen where it looked like to me they changed the ladder match, because originally they announced 6-person, but now I believe it's 10.
Yeah, I have it on the paper. It's 10. Of course, they're going to have Braden Lee in it.
Yeah.
And it's for a shot at the main event on the 1-year anniversary show. So whoever wins that, whether it be, I don't know if it's a title match or it's going to be part of the main event on the 1-year anniversary show. Whoever wins that. But yeah, it's up to 10 now. And then, of course, they've grown out some. You got, Logan Myers and JB are going to take on Ruthless Domination for the titles. And Buck and Jordan, Buck Sexton, Jordan James, taking on Hagley and Jesse Winchester.
I think that's going to be interesting.
That's the word, interesting. Because it's hard telling where they're going to go with that.
Yeah, anything with Hadley is going to be interesting.
So, and we won't be going Friday night. Where did I put that? But they got 3 matches scheduled for the dub for this Friday. Dex Royal and is going to take on a guy named Michael Elgin. Are you familiar with him? I am not either, but
I'm not.
He must be a big shot, I'm guessing, somewhere. So whoever wins that will get a title shot somewhere down the line, whoever that may be. Because Blake's got a busy weekend. Because Blake on Friday's taking IK3 for the number 1 contender. And then Blake's taking on Jake in the cage on Saturdays. Blake's got a busy couple of days coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Real busy couple of days.
Yeah, and then you've got the VIP, all 4 of them. Itch, Vinny, TJ Powers, and Baron. They're taking on WRESTILNG, Joey, Pogo, Johnny Wade, and Max Sterling. And that's the 3 matches they got announced already for Friday.
Because sounds like that's going to be a pretty good card Friday.
Yeah, because next week's their Super Show. And Itch challenged Hodari, because last time, I don't know if you watched it Friday night, Hodari was taking on Dutch Boy, and Itch came in and interfered, caused a DQ on probably somebody. But then he challenged Hodari for that Gunslinger title. So Itch is taking on Hodari at the big one at the end of the month.
So I thought Hodari was going to be at Kokomo the other night.
Yeah, I got thinking about that later today, because a lot of people, so I was texting, okay, what was this guy's name? What was this guy's name? Because it's like, okay, we've seen a lot of people. And I thought, well, hey, Hodari wasn't there Saturday. So.
And I had saw earlier in the week that he had posted that he was going to be there.
No, maybe he got hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. Something might have happened on Friday or something.
I got a PM from Ricky Guns. Him and Chris Chaos are going to be wrestling down at that Jeffersonville TCW. Is that what it's called?
I
Yeah, I
think that's
think
what it's
Down in
called.
Jeffersonville, and they're going to take on the Kelly Club. The two guys. Hang on, I got that names down here somewhere.
Tanner.
Yeah. I gotta look at my notes.
Tanner Kelly and
Tanner Kelly and Cody Heath.
Cody
Yep.
Heath. Yep.
Yeah. Those guys are going to take them on down there in Jeffersonville. So I also got, it's funny because to go along with the storyline, I already got the Bulletproof Posse on my side for Kokomo. Like I said, I doubt this is over. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen to Jordan Bell. Took my camera. My King took my camera. We now dub that the Blake.
Blake, yeah.
Since Blake started it. So
I was going to say,
I
that's
even
been
told Blake
happening
that
quite a bit here
yesterday.
lately.
I told Blake that yesterday. I said, "Hey, you started a trend. It's called the Blake." And he looks at me and goes, "That's where you steal my camera and take pictures." He started laughing. So, yeah, I was real happy to see Ricky and Chris take them titles. So,
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Going to be interesting to see what's going to happen because I noticed after the match, Southern was not happy, and him and
Jake Elliott.
yeah, Elliott, but he was mad at Elliott, but he got into it with Chris, help me with his name,
Brody.
Him and Brody got into it, and they were arguing because he was blaming Brody because Brody's hurt. So they had words. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the road when Brody comes back.
Yeah, it will.
And did you notice that Elliott was wearing Brody Bodkin's gear?
Yeah, that was awesome. Come out there in that Brody outfit.
Well, he posted something today talking about and thanking Brody. 6 months ago, whatever, he was his manager, and now he's their he's got a belt of his own, and he was wrestling in a tag team championship match. So he was thanking Brody Bachman and for everything he's done for him and stuff. I happened to see that post today.
Yeah. And he held his own pretty good because he knocked one of them guys with a 4. I don't remember who it was. I think it was probably one of the Dirty Birds and hauled off and headbutted him or something and knocked him down. I think it was the Dirty Birds.
I think it was one of the Dirty Birds. He hit him hard.
Yeah, one of the Dirty Birds. After we talked to him, we knew him. He was a runner-up in the state finals, high school wrestling, 2018.
Wow.
And as soon as he told us his name, we knew who he was.
He was looking for somewhere to train. We told him about the dub. He said he was going to get a hold of Joey and Jake.
Yeah, because they've had no training. Pretty much getting in the ring, and I think Cash has been working with them a little bit on the side when they can find a ring, but not very very little training.
Well, they got the following. I can see them going far. So.
Well, they've got the athletic ability. If they can learn a little bit,
yeah.
He sounded excited. He sounded like they were really going to try to get a hold of Joey and them. I hope they do because they get down there and train, and then you can wrestle more often.
And also,
as well. So,
like you said, they had the following. I heard them two guys sold quite a few tickets themselves. So,
I believe it. They had that whole section in bleachers over there. So,
yeah, it was a big number. I'm not going to say the number, but it was a pretty big number that they sold. So,
right.
I thought it was a pretty solid show. I enjoyed it. The crowd was loud. Like I said, I was watching some of it back today because I was breaking it. I got it all broke down in single matches. I'm actually getting ready to start downloading them on YouTube here in a little bit. But I was like, man, that crowd was loud. Because for us, we hear it, but when you like take the headphones off, then you really hear how loud it is.
Right.
Because we hear it because the mic picks it up and it's loud. Like you take the headphones off, you realize how much this cancels out on the outside. I was like, I took them off. I'm like, man, it's loud in here.
Well, just the crowd of Kokomo just not, also being, like I said, being loud. But hey, if a wrestler comes out and he starts clapping his hand,
the whole building does it.
90% of the building will clap their hands. So they're all into it. They're all there to have a good time and take part in it, not just sit there, on their hands. So I mean, they're a great crowd. I mean, Kokomo.
I can't remember who it was. who had the kid? Who had the two little kids chase them back toward the locker room?
That was Mike King and them.
Yeah, the kids was arguing with them all the way to the curtain.
Yeah, all the way to the dirt.
Oh my! Hey, I'll tell you what. Oh, Mike King, he got a little vicious during that show.
Yeah,
Have you watched the show back, Marcus?
Not totally, no.
get to that
Have
part.
you seen that match? Have you seen the video of that match?
Which one?
It's trying to think who was wrestling now.
Trying to think who it was now too.
Was he wrestling?
No,
He came set with us.
Oh, yeah.
No. He wasn't setting with us. J.H. Hogg was setting with us. Oh, it was when the Kelly Club was wrestling.
Okay.
And
yeah, Kelly Club.
Mike came over and just
Before the match. Yeah, he was getting ready to wrestle. It was before the match.
Yeah, it was all over Hogg. I mean, whew.
Yeah, I did watch some of that commentary. So
it was why Justin was walking out to the ring.
Okay.
That's when it was. Because when Mike King came out, he stopped and used your camera and took pictures.
Yep.
And then he walked over to our table and started on Shane and was going in on Shane the whole time until Justin's entrance was over. And he was saying some pretty personal stuff.
yeah, those guys go back a long way. So somewhere on the internet you can find some of that old AACW from when they're at other buildings, and Hogg and Mike are not strangers to each other. So
no. Yeah, I've actually went out to eat with both of them one night when Hogg came. He actually drove here to Muncie to come on the show. Came here and sat here in the room with us, and then Mike King called, and we ended up all at Applebee's. Next thing I know, no, they're both good guys.
yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
I'm looking forward to that Anderson show that Mike King is and them are putting on.
We won't make it to that, but we will be at the one the next day at Muncie. We will be there.
Looking forward to that one too.
Terry about that, so. He
That's
says, well, let me know. I says, just go ahead and expect us to be there. So
you haven't been at that Armory in Muncie, have you yet?
No. The last time we was there, they had it over at the high school or the middle school.
Yep. Yeah. The Armory? It's a nice facility.
Yeah, I like Armory shows.
They had it filled up last time when the Rock and Roll Express was there.
If everything comes through that Mike and them are talking about, they're going to be doing a lot of shows in the next 3 or 4 months.
Well, Terry was rambling off all kinds of stuff to me. It's like, you'll have to get it with this one at a time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing next weekend. So I had to book out that far, but he was rambling off all kinds of stuff.
The problem is when they're rambling about it, you got to pay attention because you might not get a hold of them again before. Trying to get a hold of them and find out dates. Oh man, because I don't want to schedule for some. I don't want to schedule for somewhere else if they have a show.
Right.
He was the first ones that gave us our opportunity. So if he has a show and he wants us there, we're going to be there.
Yep, you're like me with the ACW. That's I love the dub, and I'll go down there because they run on Fridays. You don't have a lot of Friday shows, so I don't have conflicts.
Yeah.
With the dub, but a lot of the time you have a lot of people running the same. It's like, well, no, I go to Kokomo when they run, so.
It sucks because for some DCCW and New Era, I've been running on the same days, and it sucked because I like going to Shelbyville. I like that facility there at that boys club and stuff. I like going there, but it's been on the same day as DCCW last.
Well, this time it was on the same day because they ran Saturday.
Yep.
And you know who was there, right?
Yeah.
Billy Stark was there. Well, it's just like the day. What's it? Well, we got something going on the 6th, but Crawfordsville and Lafayette are running that day.
Yep.
And we won't be going either one because I got something else going. But
yeah, because we've been invited to Crawfordsville, but DCCW's got a show that day, so
they have it. Yeah. There's a lot of shows because it's the first Saturday of the month.
Yep.
People need to get off that first Saturday of the month.
And the Anderson show being at a festival, I think it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah.
Because that was cool when they done that festival here in Muncie. So I think it's going to be something like that. So it should be fun.
Yeah. Then we won't be at the WCWO at the park in Lebanon. We had something come up, so we won't be at that one. But you guys will be there, right?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to talk to Joey. We
Joey.
was seeing about power because he didn't know if there was any power out there.
Right. Well, they got construction and stuff going up, so they got all this like snow fence was what I call it, that orange barrier all over the place out there. So I don't know where they're going to set the ring up, how the parking's going to be. I haven't figured that out, but then something came up and we won't be going anyway. But
yeah, I need to get a hold of Joey to find out. We talked to him about it, but he was going to see about the power.
Well, I know
Right.
they was going to use a generator for themselves. I don't know if that would be enough power for us too or not. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works.
And then we
Yeah.
don't know about the internet.
Yeah.
We had trouble at Kokomo. We had trouble with the
Yeah,
internet.
Chris was telling me about that.
You just
Yeah.
never.
We lost our Facebook feed trying to fix it, and I got it fixed. But heck, we've had over 300 people watch it on YouTube already.
No, I
think
know
it's-
Matt Weir. He
it's
was
okay.
is a former referee for Shane, and then he had leg issues, kind of like you do, so he can't do that anymore. And he couldn't make it because his leg hurt so bad Saturday. And I seen where he watched your feed, so he knew what was going on. So it's good you guys do that, because for the dub runs every Friday, so I can watch them.
Yeah.
And there's not too many shows that I hadn't watched, but like when I hadn't made it to a Warrior Pro, I could watch what you guys had. So, and if it's not you guys, it's Victoria from
Yep.
Iconic. So I don't miss too much, even if I'm not there. So
Well, yeah, I know. I think you and your wife watched the one we did in Muncie from the park. I
Yep.
believe.
I did.
Yeah, I
I watched
remember
that,
seeing
yeah, because we wasn't there, but we watched it here in the living room. So, and like I said, if we had known the setup, we would have been there. So Mike and Terry both told me next time, hey, if you want to come, let us know, and we'll let you know how we could get you in there. So, and it's just
Yeah,
like
we could.
Saturday.
Yeah, because you could
Parks
have
are gonna
drove
come
right
out
up
with
to the.
Yeah.
You could have drove right up behind the bleachers and parked and been right there.
We had a show. Joey he used to run a thing called, no, he had an alternate where he ran his Young Gun tournament. I can't think what that promotion he called it was.
Oh,
But they had a free show in Beech Grove. And they invited us down. And Kelly, they got me seated. And they told Kelly, go back and get the car. Fight or die. Yeah, that's it. She's yelling from me in the other room. And they moved the barricades, and she parked the car within like 3 spots of where we were sitting. They let her right on in there. So if
that's
they know,
cool.
and Saturday they're going to bring the golf cart out to wherever we're at to wheel us back in the event, so we don't have to walk all that way over there.
Yeah, he messaged me to see how many people I was going to have with me, so knew how many comp tickets to get us.
Yeah,
Like, I'm assuming that we're going to be able to at least pull in kind of close to the building, or
At least
or
to set up.
yeah, at least to get everything carried in,
Well, they're not running at
or
the
maybe
building.
a cart.
Are you
maybe a
talking
cart.
Saturday?
Huh?
You talking Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're not running at the building. It's going to be out one of them shelters out there somewhere.
It's barn or something.
Yeah. It's going to be like a shelter house. They'll be covered, but from what I understand, it'll be like a shelter house. There won't be no walls on it, but there will be a roof, if I understood what I heard right. So even if it rains, we're going to still be under cover, if I understood right. So
I told DCCW about a real cool facility I was at. Went to see the concert at, but it was in Newcastle, and I'd never heard of it. It's called Arts Park, and they took a old lumber yard, and it's completely covered with a roof, and then in front of it they built a real beautiful garden in front of it, and then they're using that facility for concerts. Well, matter of fact, Saturday night they had a UFC, well, not UFC, but that type of cage
Right.
fighting. And I mean, this place could hold a couple thousand people easily. And I was telling Terry and them about that they should check it out because it was a really beautiful facility. Right downtown, right in the middle of downtown Newcastle.
you're just like me. You ever been to Indiana Beach?
No, I've never been.
Well, they got what's called the ballroom, and that back in the old days they used to run balls and stuff in there. And I've been in that. You're like me, and I look around like, oh, you can set a ring up in here. Well, Backbreaker Wrestling has ran 2 shows in that ballroom at Indiana Beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like me. You look around, you think, yeah, I'll bet you get a rig set up in here.
We were driving down the road the other day. Well, Amanda was driving, not Colin's driving no more, but and I was looking. She goes, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I'm looking at buildings. Leave me alone."
There's a
So I'm
barn in
sizing up
Burlington.
what buildings I can fit a rig in, and how many people.
There's this big old barn in Burlington. Town's a little small town, and it's on our way to Kokomo. I don't know what they use that barn for. Got one of them rounded roofs. Every time I go by, I tell Kelly, I said, bet you can get wrestling in that building. Every time we go by there, it's got the look that you could say, hey, come here for wrestling. And
Yeah.
yep, every time we go by there.
Yeah, because I'll be looking at buildings like, well, we could get a couple hundred people in there with a ring. We got a couple places here in Muncie that you can get a few people in. The Armory's nice though. They got a good deal getting out there.
Yeah, I like Armory shows. That's where the one in Crawfordsville is going to be this next, because they got the fair going on, so they can't use the fairgrounds, which is a very nice building as well for where they run their shows. But the Armory in Crawfordsville, I seen Bruiser in there on my second show ever. Was in the Armory there in Crawfordsville. So it's just that nostalgia, that old school. That's where they used to run high school gyms.
Yeah.
Old high school gyms and armories.
Yeah, I've seen Bruiser at the old Muncie Armory. I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, but he was taking on Mitsu Arakawa.
I don't know. I know that name.
You don't remember? Yeah, he wrestled. You look probably about in 69, 70, 71, 72 area.
Well, that's quite a ways before me. So
because I remember, as a little kid, I can remember this lady sneaking up on him, and she was going to throw her Coca-Cola on him, and she turned to look back at her family, and didn't realize a cop had stepped in front of Mitsuoka, and she just turned and threw it all over that cop. I was probably like 8 years old, and I still can remember that.
Well, I can tell you a story. I don't know if you watched the Jordan Bell interview I did. Do you remember the Shire brothers? It was like, I think they looked like twins, and they were bald guys, if I remember right.
What was the name again?
The Shire brothers.
Shire brothers?
They're from the Bruiser era.
Okay.
Anyway, the story goes, because I heard it from my grandfather, and my dad will still tell it if you ask him. My grandmother was, the beginning of my wrestling per se, and she hauled off and hit one of them Shire brothers as he was either going to the ring or coming back. And security just told her, lady, you need to sit down or we're going to have to escort you out. So, and the funny thing is, my grandmother weighed under 100 pounds. She probably was only 90 pounds, but she hauled off and hit one of them guys. And my grandfather loved telling that story. It happened, I think my dad was a boy at the time. But if you ever see my dad, ask him about it. Okay. And he'll still tell you about how his mom smacked one of the Shire brothers with that purse. And so...
Yeah, I remember, because I can remember in 69, 70 Bruiser. And also, I can remember 79, 80 towards, almost the end of that era almost. Because we seen him at the fairgrounds early 80s. Probably one of his later matches, him and Yukon Moose against.
Yeah, they wrestled a lot together.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I remember when I was a kid, went to Anderson Speedway, and it was Larry Sabisco.
Mm-hmm.
AWA, yeah.
I can't remember who he wrestled now, but I remember being a little kid and going to that.
Yeah,
I know. Heenan, Kurt Heenan was there. Zabisco. I'm wanting to say Scott Hall was there, but of course he wasn't.
Well, I was going to tell you, it was the AWA show I did see was at the Coliseum at the fairgrounds. And the opening match was Larry Zabisco with Scott Hall. And then they had a battle royal at the end of the night, and Scott Hall ended up winning that. But
because I remember as a little kid, they had it right there in the pit, like the inside the track.
Yeah.
The infield. Yeah, right there in the infield or whatever.
Well, they used to run at the Columbia Park in Lafayette a lot too. I hear a lot of stories about how they were out there on the ball field, and Bruiser ran out on the ball field, ran the shows out there on the ball field, and
We ran that one show with the Maples on a baseball field here in town. But the problem we had was when you're trying to sell tickets, it's trying to keep people from being on places where they can still see it and not have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that a lot when you do those outdoor shows because they find places to sneak in, and
Well, and we had a little bit of problem because we bought the show from Maples and we was trying to make money. Well, then all these wrestlers show up with 10 people and all these 10 people want it free. And I
Well,
said, no,
we wouldn't try to make money for us. We was trying to make money to
no,
save that community center.
it's for the
Right.
community center. It wasn't, it's for the community center. It was a fundraiser. And I said, no, I said, they can have one person. I said, maybe even two, but we're not letting 10 people in for free. I said, so I'm not trying to be a jerk, but
Chris Chaos says, "What's up,
yep.
Marcus?
What's up, champ?"
Yeah, I remember that one of the wrestlers had like 10 people with them and wanted them all to get in for free. It's like, no.
Yeah, I could go on and on about families, but I won't. So
yeah,
I was at a show. I could do this. I don't have to name names, but I was at a show that the doors opened. We were, like you said, I was one of the first few people in, and the first 2 rows were already taken. It's like, okay, you just opened doors. I'm the third person in the door, and I have to sit in the third row. I don't understand this. Well, that's his family and his friends. Oh, so they get the paying customers sit in the back, and
yeah.
all your freebies. No.
That don't make sense.
No. Don't make sense at all. I've been mad too. People that didn't pay or have a better seat than I have, and I paid.
I have been to a few shows where they will get on them, the promoter or somebody say, "Hey, you need to sit in the back." It's like paying customers get the front row. So,
I know at the Dove, Joey's mom makes sure if you ain't paid, you're standing in the back somewhere.
that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I understand.
And not to bring up Shane, but Shane lets you have one. I read his stuff. It's not a secret. He has it online.
Yep.
So I'm not telling secrets, but he puts it, you and one. That's it. Anybody else, you got to pay, and you come in when the family or when you come in when the crowd comes in.
Yep.
So that's that old school.
I think one's fair. I don't think
I think that's standard. I mean, from everything I've ever read, it's always wrestler plus one, and then that's it. And the one needs to sit in the back because
yeah,
that's the way it needs to be.
Well, we've been to shows like that where you walk in and most of the front rows already took, and it's like, how the hell did all these people get in here?
Yeah, that show it was. I won't name names, but first 2 rows, we're in the third row. We're the third person in the door, and we're sitting in the third row. There's something not right about this.
Yeah, we went to a show. We paid for front row seats, and we got there, and there wasn't no front row seats left. They had people sitting all of them.
Yeah,
they put us some seats in the front row. I mean, they got us in the front row, but they had to add some seats.
Yeah,
it was like, we got front row tickets. We're sitting in the front row.
Yeah, no kidding. You're going to pay that extra money, you're going to get the seat you paid for.
Yeah.
And we can't. I mean, I'm not complaining because they took care of it and made it right. But it was just, it's like, man, you got to make sure you got the right amount of seats for tickets match up.
Yeah. People are pretty good with Kelly and I because I sit on my walker, she sits in her fishing chair. Like I asked Blake, I said, okay, you know how we are. I said, can you get us a front? Because I didn't know how the venue was Sunday.
Yeah.
And he sent it off to Jake, and Jake PM'd me and says, we got to get a little creative, but we got you taken care of. And they did. They had us taken care of. So, and the Illinois people, the Halls, because it's HALLS, Chris, and I think that guy's name's Thomas, they take care of us. And we don't have a problem much anywhere. I call Juanita and say, hey, we're coming. She sets her seats up. Or takes the seats out because then we just wheel in there. But
yeah,
everybody's pretty good.
Now we've been lucky with that too. Any promotion we went to, I mean, we had no problems with anybody. Everybody's been real nice, and if we need anything, they try. If they can help us, they help us. Hell, they're AECW. They carried all of our equipment in and carried it all out for us. All the wrestlers did.
Yeah, we was running a little bit behind schedule because we stopped to eat and food was great, but the service was a little bit bad, but anyway, yeah, they came out and they carried everything in for us, and
That's fantastic.
That was awesome.
Well, Roger Moore, he bought the table, the VIP table, and invited us to sit with him. And that VIP thing includes a picture with the wrestlers if you wanted. And it was Brent. Brent come up and says, "Okay, you get your picture taken with anybody you want, just let them know." It says, "Well, how about the whole locker room?" Here they all come. You've seen it.
Yep.
They all come out. We got our group picture, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm living a dream right now." Because
that's pretty awesome.
and then Jordan Bell come in and shook my hand. Go, "You mean tell me you wasn't in the picture?" He's outside somewhere, so he's not in that photo. Says, "Well, you missed up now because the doors open."
That sounds like Jordan.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he gets, I guess. He took his own picture, so he wasn't in my picture, so he took his own picture, so I'd have it. So,
tell you what, that as soon as he comes out that curtain, that crowd is on him.
He's good.
Yep, very good.
And I'll give you guys kudos. You're not Jim Ross, but boy, did you play that up with them coming over, and you guys were right on that. I love the commentary when I'm getting strangled to death. So,
well, thanks, we appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys, that was fantastic stuff. Like I said, I told my nephew, I said, "Hey, where you at?" Because he works all over the place. He says he's 50 minutes from home and says, "You ought to be in home in time. You need to turn on the TV and get Grandpa to watch it," because my dad lives with him.
Yeah.
So I called my dad yesterday. I said, "Did you see what happened to me yesterday?" I was like, says, "Yes, I did." It's like,
so he got there in time for him to watch it.
He watched your live feed. Cool. Yep.
Yeah, when we got done and we were loaded up and we got in the car, I looked to see how many people had watched, and it already had like 100. I think it was 150, wasn't it?
Wow,
I think
that's
I told
fantastic.
Or something.
I think it's like 377 right now on YouTube.
I haven't looked since this morning, and it was like at 315, but that was early this morning, so it's probably getting close to 400 now.
Yeah. Well, I was watching parts of it because, like I said, I don't know if you can see this, but all day I've been working my notes because I go back through my pictures, and then some names I'm like, "Oh God, what's that guy's name?" And it's simple names. And Kelly's over here looking through stuff, and I PM certain people. Okay, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Oh, that's right. It says I'm running 5 shows, and I'm trying to remember all these names. It's like
I usually take a picture of the match card. That way, when I'm going down to break everything down, I can look at it, make sure I got everybody's names. Because sometimes we don't know the guys, and sometimes they'll tell us they'll have one name down on the match card, but the wrestler's going by a different name.
Well,
and it's like, you guys gotta let me know this.
Well, Chris, didn't they just put down Dirty Birds?
Yep.
I couldn't tell you what those guys' names are.
They just said Dirty Birds. They didn't give us any names.
And Hysterics, I knew Hysterics the Clown. I knew him. Referee David Lee, buddy, how are you? I've known David forever. He's the commissioner. He's the one that runs and introduces Blake at WPW.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've known David forever. Used to referee RDL, Referee David Lee. I've known him since the Basher days and shows before that.
Looking forward to seeing you guys Saturday at 3.
He'll be there.
Does it start at 3 or 3:30?
I have 3:30.
I was gonna say I had 3:30 on is what I saw on the flyer. Doors open at 2:30.
Yeah, that's what I have. Doors at 2:30, bell time 3:30.
Okay, that's what I have too. So maybe he just knows we're going to be there early anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure that's it.
3.
We'll be there before 3.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, we plan on going early because we're going to try to get there early, set up, and
yeah, I'll try to get there early
walk
too.
Around, or go around the fair and get something to eat.
Get my
before
seats,
the show.
So. And I was talking to Richard Trisdale, which is the ringside photographer there.
Yep.
He said, "Oh, it's outside. You're going to love because outdoor lighting. You know, you get that sun in the right spot. You can take some good pictures because your camera just loves that." And he says, "You'll do well photographing there." When we did Greenwood, we were up under the awning of the business because they were closed. It was 4th of July weekend. Perfect because the sun's like just right there. And that was funny. I don't know if I was telling you guys, they had it in Greenwood at one of the major intersections. There's a guy across the street with his camera phone out, filming it from across the street. And every so often we're watching the cars come up to that stoplight. I said, we're going to have an accident because they're all doing this.
Yeah. I saw a video of it. And you could see the people in cars turning their heads.
Says we're going to have a wreck out there. So, but yeah, it was pretty humorous.
Did they draw a pretty good crowd there for that?
No, I'd say most of them are normal WCWO fans. Big Pete and Monica was in front of us with their grandkids, and Roger and his family, me and Kelly, and a group over here I wasn't familiar with. And then they ran down the sidewalk some, maybe 30, if that.
Yeah, I was wondering
That
how
show
many
was kind of
people-
announced at the last minute. They didn't really. They told them that on Friday, and that was on Sunday, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So there wasn't a lot of time to tell them.
Yeah, because that's what he had said out at that Thanksgiving. That like he's like, I just found out about it yesterday. Like, whoa.
Yeah, there wasn't much time in there.
Because he left Mike's pretty early that night because he had to get up and get that ring set up and everything.
And then we would have went to Sheridan, but I scoped it out on the way to Thanksgiving. I said, I bet we'd have to park off site because the park didn't have a lot of parking, and I bet we'd be. And it's like, well, we can't go. And they brought in almost 1,000 people to that.
Yeah, that's all we saw.
It's like, my word. And I'm glad we didn't go. That was in the beating sun. I've been as red as my shirt, and
oh yeah, it was hot.
those
that
guys
week.
are just sweating, and you can just see it if you look. Geez, that.
Yeah, it was hot that
day.
week. It was hot that weekend too. Real hot that weekend. I saw they had a big crowd.
Yeah, they did.
Are you going to be at the next Thunder or Blunder? I think
He's going to have
8th.
it in a pumpkin patch somewhere in October.
A pumpkin patch.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's going to be like a Halloween theme, from what I'm told.
He didn't tell me nothing about no pumpkin patch.
Yeah, well, that's what he's trying. Either like a corn maze or one of those type of places, is what he told me.
What are you gonna do about power?
That's what I'm saying. He didn't tell me that.
Well, did he tell you about the fifth one? Oklahoma.
I didn't know that. I knew.
Yeah,
I knew
because he said it was out of state, so I PM'd him. Now I don't know if I should be telling this info, but anyhow, now I think I'm on the air.
Cats
I'm
all
only used just to talking to you guys. I'm not used to, hey, we're live. But I said,
Hey,
okay, we're out, because I thought if it's in Illinois, I'll go ahead and get a room booked.
Yeah.
He said, Oklahoma. Oh, man, that's a little far to drive. I don't think we'll be at that one.
Yeah, all he told me about the October was that it was going to be in Mooresville.
I had not heard that.
That's
He
why.
told, well, I don't think I heard it, but he said he was trying to get one of them Halloween themed, cider hayride type of venues.
He said it was going to be in Mooresville. Is all he told me.
Huh. So we'll see. I don't know at this point. I am going to try to go down because Ricky Guns invited me down to that one in Jeffersonville. Give us a date. I already got a room booked in case we can go to go down there and see him.
Have you been at that place?
I've never been in there.
If it's at that, I think they call it the arena. It's pretty cool little venue.
Yeah,
reminds me of the Dub a little bit.
that's cool. I'll contact if we get to go. I'll contact somebody down there. Save us a section. So, but I got the room booked, Ricky. We'll just have to see what happens by that time because I can cancel the room the day of if we don't get down there. So
Yeah, we done that show. It had standing room only in there that night.
Well, they've had that girls fight there. I would have liked to went to, but they do it on Tuesday nights. And
do they air condition that building?
I
I don't know.
Or is it one of them sauna buildings? One of them sauna shows?
That's just what I kind of think.
I know it didn't have no internet.
Hey, I've done both. Like I said, the one in Kentucky was 110 degrees in that building, and they had the power to turn. I don't know why they didn't turn the air on that night, but we've been in sub-zero weather too. So,
Oh yeah,
is ever at Maple shows over there in Marion? Actually, both of them. What was outside was basically what was going on inside. So he had space heaters of salamanders and big fans in the summer and salamanders over there. Yeah.
Thunder and Blunder, I think it was 2. We was over by that door at the Dub, and they kept opening that door, man. You talk about freezing.
Yeah. And Kelly and I sat over by the entrance one time, and I swear it was 0 degrees outside, and we're just dying because it's cold.
I think that's why. I think that might be why Stevie never came back.
He
He
was
froze that
done.
night, so I ain't doing this no more.
Stevie was done after that. We never seen him again for a show.
Yeah, we've hit all of them. We like fall and spring because the buildings are nice. I mean, we go all the year long, but for comfort,
Yeah.
fall, especially the fall,
Yeah.
the best time. I love it. Kids back in school, the buildings start getting shows start popping up more, and you get more of a crowd. And
Well, Dad, you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Marcus, our plan is if you're cool with it, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, come on and talk about shows and
yeah, I'll be glad to.
Sounds good. You have anything else, Marcus?
I don't think so. Just hope to see you in Danville Friday night. Like I said, we won't make it down to the dub, but it's a good. They got a good 3 matches already set up. Danville will be a hotbed this Saturday. You don't want to miss that.
No, I'm really looking forward to this show this Saturday.
Yeah. Blake and Jake in the cage. Jake Carter, Blake Money Wright, and a feud that's been going on since the beginning of the Federation. Hopefully, Blake is in good shape after taking on IK3 Friday, because he's got 2 really big opponents back to back, and he just got done wrestling Rush Jones, so he's putting in the time. So I hopefully he don't get injured.
Yeah.
In these matches, and
I'm looking forward
to
to
be a keeper.
I think that cage match is going to be real good.
Yeah, I haven't seen a cage match forever.
Dutch Boy and Nate Matthews, I think, is going to be outstanding.
I love Nate. I've known Nate because of my pictures. That's how I met Nate. Nate used to work at the Dub, and he started seeing my pictures, and that's how me and Nate become buddies. And when I see Nate Matthews taking on Dutch Boy, I say, "Oh, that can main event it."
Oh yeah,
right there. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And I talked to the Dutch Boy yesterday. I said, "You ready for Nate?" And he said, "Oh, he's ready. He's looking forward to that." So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that match as soon as we saw that, because Nate and Cole Radrick put on a heck of a show there at Warrior Pro that day.
And Nate was their champion.
I thought they were going to take out all my equipment at one point.
Yeah, too.
I thought for sure they were falling that way. Somehow he regained it, but man, I was trying to grab the laptop. Like, you can hit anything else, but don't hit this laptop or this box.
Yeah, Nate's done some good work. He was the champion for BMFX. He wrestled Dale Patrick's, Sage Phillips. Are you familiar with him? I like Sage Phillips. And
Sage.
They put on a good show. He brought in some people from New Wave Pro. I wasn't the Brannigan guy. I wasn't familiar with him. Joseph Schwartz put on a good match with him, and of course he has a feud, I think, going with Eric Dillinger. And
Dillinger, I like Dillinger too. Dillinger's good.
Yeah.
We saw him and Sean Kemp. I think you were at that show at Summit Pro, weren't you?
That was
Yeah. They put on, that was a heck of a match.
Yeah. Dillinger looks so I don't know, because he wears the pants and the or the suspenders, so you don't. I won't say count him out, but when you first see him, it's like, oh, this ought to be good. But yeah, he's a worker.
Yeah,
it's just like those shooting stars. I didn't want to. We'll see, David. We'll see, buddy.
No,
11 months in the making.
We're gonna have Buck Sexton, the owner of Warrior Pro Wrestling,
Buck Sexton,
on tomorrow.
I got my reminders already set up.
Tomorrow at 6:30, and then we'll also have Jake Carter on Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Jake Carter's gonna be on.
I put it in my reminders, like when you had Walt, and then you had Jordan Bell. It's like, okay, I gotta watch it because she'll take off. But I tell my Alexa, send me a reminder. Send me a reminder.
Then we're going to re-air last month's Warrior Pro WPW 10.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That way they can
Thursday night. That way people can watch it and kind of see then they'll know the storyline going into the fair fight. We done that last week for the AACW, and it seemed to go well. So I'm gonna try to do it from now on.
Yeah, there's some hot shows out there. You guys, if those people out there watching this, it's out there. You find it, you'll love it. I'm telling you, there's some hot feuds and hot shows going on everywhere. Like Jake Ullman, I don't think he runs a lot.
David needs all the
That's
black
basically
mark.
where I have to go back to the soup kitchen or something. Don't have his meal ticket anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of good promotions in the state of Indiana right now. So
Yeah,
I mean,
anybody wants to
you
let
can
you
find
guys know, let
wrestling.
me know. We could tell you where to hit them. And even if it's shows I don't go to, I could still tell you where they're at. So,
Yep.
because
And most
there's a lot of shows I can't make it, but I'll watch their stuff just to.
about any show I see, if I see a flyer or something on Facebook, I try to share it on our page so people will see it.
Yeah, there's a guy out in, I think he's in Oregon. His name's Jason Amos. He runs a podcast out there too, and he comes to the area about once or twice a year. And every week I send him all the flyers because if I see like this week's the 16th, no, that was this past week, 23rd, I'll save it. I'll save it. Then one day, like Tuesdays, and I'll send him all those flyers that he announces them on his podcast. And it's just not Indiana. It's if because I Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Ohio. So if it comes up, I'll send it to him and
And that's
he'll
what I try
announce
to
it.
do. If I see it, I try to help get it out there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a big. I'm hoping for a big crowd this Saturday. I think it'll be.
No, I
I
don't
think
think
it'll
you have
get
to
a
worry
big
about that.
crowd,
I
and
think it'll be real good.
Yeah,
I think
don't
it's gonna
think
be
you
a
have to
great.
worry.
I think it's gonna be a great time. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Dad, you got anything else?
Nope, I'm good to go.
All right, we'll go ahead and get out of here for tonight. Like I said, don't forget, Buck Sexton will be on tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. live YouTube, Facebook, Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. Jake Carter on Thursday at 6. We'll re-air the WPW 10 at 8:30 on Thursday night. I want to thank Marcus Fine for coming back and joining us again. We appreciate it.
Yep. Glad to do it.
But everybody have a good night. Stay safe, and we will see you guys next time.